daughter's found, right? Right?
We have a 48-hour hold on it. Ends tomorrow unless we bring charges.
Well, charge him, son. Charge him.
Mr. Go
I understand we have two little girls. It gotta be worth whatever little rule you gotta break to keep that asshole in custody. Now, I know you can't promise me anything, I understand that, but I'm asking you to be sure, be 100% sure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Welcome back, everybody, to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about Prisoners 2013. This cast is like, oh, it's stellar. Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Viola Davis, Melissa Leo, Maria Bello, Terrence Howard. You take two, I think they're two very powerful actors, Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. You put them side to side. I can't believe that this movie is not more well known. It's just crazy to me.
I didn't even know about it. And I'm a movie buff. So
yeah. Short summary. Two little girls are abducted and kidnapped. It's a holiday. Family, friends, neighbors are at each other's houses. People around. Everyone's having a good time. They trust their kids to run down the street, go get something, and come back. The problem is they never did come back. This whole search and torture goes on within the families. Hugh Jackman, who plays Keller Dover, is a man of God, a man of belief, a man of one day there will be disaster. So he has like this apocalyptic supply room bunker down in his basement.
He's a survivalist, Right. He's thinking ahead, far ahead, right?
Yeah, he's always
have a plan.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
That's right. Yeah, that's his motto. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it's good and bad at the same time, because there is a line in this film where his wife goes, "You made me feel so safe." And you know what? Nothing's always going to be 100% safe. But that line just killed me. When she said that, it's like she really did believe it, because he prepared. He was always ready for everything except for this.
She was like, "You promised us you'd keep us safe." It might be slow paced, but it's a slow gripping, like that. You want to keep watching because you want to see what happens next.
Yeah, you want
you got this detective that's very determined, who's never has always solved every case he's had, so he's determined to solve this.
Yes.
He's getting frustrated, but then you have the dad who's going a little off the rails to what he thinks is right, because they catch this guy that they think took the kids, but he's mentally unstable. He's like a 10-year-old. He won't talk. They have no evidence on him. So the cops have to let him go. And of course, the dad freaks out about this. And what does the dad do? He goes and kidnaps that guy and tortures him to find out answers. And the guy's not speaking, which, I think a lot of parents in that position would want to do that. I don't know how many parents would actually do that. But being a parent myself, you being a parent, you feel you would have to try to do everything in your power to find your child,
Right.
So it's a very realistic movie. The first time I was watching it, and I'm sitting there at edge of my seat, just wondering what's going to happen next. How is this going to be resolved? And of course, there's little twists, but there's also Easter eggs all sprinkled along the way to tell you the answer. Right from the beginning, it's foreshadowing, because when the kids want to go outside and play, he tells the older son, go with them.
And the older sister of Joy.
And the older sister of Joy, so that's right. They go and watch. And they start playing on the RV. They realize someone's in the RV. It's not theirs, so they take them off it, as you would for any kid. But then when the kids go to collect her whistle that she forgot at her home, she was supposed to go get her big brother, and then the parents don't think of anything, and then a while goes by and they haven't come back yet, so they go down and ask the teenagers. They're like, "Didn't you go with them?" They're like, "No, they never came down and grabbed us." So the kids went out on their own, and you assume that they didn't even make it back to the house to get the whistle, which the whistle becomes a very important part of the story later on. I didn't even realize what they were looking for until near the end of the movie, that it came full circle. So that's kind of like a bit of an Easter egg there. The father, a priest, apparently he did some bad stuff with kids. Otherwise, he wouldn't be at his door. He finds him passed out on the floor and realizes, he looks around in his kitchen and realizes that the fridge used to be over here, because you can see the markings on the floor. Realizes the fridge is over here. So he moves the fridge, finds a door, finds a cellar that doesn't even have stairs going down into it, and finds a dead body. And now I didn't notice this at first, but the dead body has a necklace on, which will come to be, important
Another
information.
piece. Yeah, another piece of it. Yeah.
Another piece to the little puzzle.
All pun intended.
What do they call it?
Vigil. Yeah.
Vigil. Yeah. For the kids, because it's been 5 days, they can't find them. Or 4 days or something by that point, I think. I think in total they're gone for 6 days or a week. He notices this guy touching one of the stuffed animals very awkwardly. So he starts, and then when he notices the cop, he kind of starts backing away and runs away. So he chases him, can't find him, but he does end up finding him the next day. And this guy was abducted when he was young, but drugged so much he can't name his abductors. He's all mentally messed up from it. In his house, he has countless mazes drawn on the walls. And he's just very awkward guy. So they take him into custody. He says something like saying that he'll draw them a map to the girls, but he keeps drawing the mazes. And
right.
At first you're like, you don't even understand why. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, why is this part of the movie? He ends up killing himself in the police station, which is insane.
Put the gun down! Put the gun down! No! Fuck. You call fucking RA.
Later on, you find, like, as it progresses and the realization of who actually took the kids comes into play, just Joy gets found. She escapes. Right. She gets out. And she says to Hugh Jackman's character, "You were there."
Right.
It prompts him to go, okay, where did I go? Who did I visit? And he knows who he visited. He visited this woman named Holly, the 10-year-old in a man's body's aunt. So he goes back to her house.
Alex's aunt.
Right. Yeah. So we think she once he gets there, she pretends that her hand was burnt. She has a cloth over her hand. Really has a cloth over the gun she's holding, because once he's in there and his back is turned, she pulls the gun on him. She kind of lets it known that her and her husband had been taking kids their whole lives. Some they kept, Alex, for example. Some got away. This crazy guy that was drawing the mazes, and the rest of them they killed. So once that's all figured out, where we're now at the very catalyst of the movie, he reluctantly just, like, there's so many moments he could have just turned around and smacked her. Like when they're walking out the door, he could have knocked that gun out of her hand. She's an older lady. I think he could have done it, but he doesn't do anything. He ends up getting shot in the leg, thrown in a hole underneath the car where they kept the kids. And then we don't see him for a while. And it goes back to, like, the other portion of the story. Loki is reluctant to going to Holly, the abductor's house, not knowing she's the abductor yet, to say that
he was coming. She knew. She was right.
She knew the second he got there that like he had to get rid of the little girl. So she was going to inject her with something. He walks in the house. He looks at a photo, and when he looks at that photo, he realizes that's her husband, but he notices it's the same necklace on the dead body in the priest basement. And that guy, the priest said, admitted to him that he killed 16 children. And obviously the priest killed him and left him in his basement, wrapped up. He finally, he guns her down. She ends up shooting him, like grazing him in the head So he's injured. He gets Anna before she gets injected, but she's already been drugged up so much she's probably on the verge of death. He gets her in his car. He drives frantically. Well, that driving scene was nerve-wracking. I thought they were going to crash the entire
icy
time.
Road. Oh,
like
terrible.
It's raining. Yeah. He can't see. He's got blood in his face.
He got hit,
going in and out of consciousness. And then he gets there, and then of course they don't know where Hugh Jackman's character is, but because he was torturing Alex, they assumed he ran away. I'm like, but he wouldn't run away. Like, that's out of character for him. And I think that's what Loki thought. And that's why Loki's like, well, the case is solved, but it's not solved. Right. So he goes back to the crime scene and just stands there. And then the working crew searching the premises say, the ground's frozen. We can't dig anymore tonight. We're going to leave. They leave, and of course, because of his determination, he just stands there still wondering, like, kind of pondering, like, I don't have all the answers yet. And I think that bothered him. He needed to know the answers. And of course, a few scenes before that, we saw Hugh Jackman find the little orange whistle that his daughter originally went to the house for in the beginning of the movie. He finds it in the hole, which proves to him she was there.
She was there, yeah.
The movie ends with this awesome scene with Jake Gyllenhaal just standing there and then being like, he's about to walk away and he hears something. And he's like, no, that can't be it. And he hears it again. And he still goes to walk away. And then he hears it one more time. That's when he turns around. And he hears it again. And then fade to black. But now it's left to the audience members to say, hey, did Loki find Hugh Jackman's character under the ground? Or did he just stand there pondering it?
I think he did.
I'd like to think he found him.
This movie, I love it. It's so fucking good. But for all of the torture that he had to go through to torture Alex, to get that out of him, to torture himself, to claw away at his soul to go find his daughter, I really wanted to see them hug.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see that. That would have made me feel less edgy about everything.
But I think the purpose of it is to keep you thinking at the end. Because, like, I literally sat here for 10 minutes afterwards just pondering what I just watched, how the ending went, wondering, in wonderment, do they find the dad? Do they reunite? Do they, is it a happy ending? Or does he end up bleeding out because he's shot in the leg? Yeah, he was whistling, but it was fairly faint. Like, he was probably using the last of his energy. Like, I don't know how long he was underneath there for. Could have been a few days, They didn't really tell you the time frame of how long he had been down there. But she gave him, if you do a good tourniquet, she said, I'll give you 24 hours. But when he's a survivalist, he probably made a really good tourniquet, spared his energy properly because he is a survivalist. If he can figure it out, surely the cops could, because they were following him. They were right behind him, basically.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how this woman got away with it for so long. She fooled everybody. It left me just wondering, like, okay, how many kids did they really take? Does the dad and the daughter get to meet again? Does he end up going to jail for what he did to Alex?
That's what I was going to say.
I
was going to say that. I was like, I would like to see them reunite, but then he would go straight to jail for beating the hell out of that kid.
Yeah. And
because
torturing him.
He knows he fucking did it.
Yeah.
He knows. He found him.
Would they allow it to go? Because that kid did know that the girls were there. So he was withholding information. Because he even, like, in the parking lot when they first interacted, he did say something to him about the kids.
Right. They didn't scream into and cry until I left them.
That's what sparked him to think it was him in the first place. So,
and that's funny because for him to say that, being drugged and brainwashed and forced, that's why, Alex is a character, he's so strange and quiet. But that I saw, like, they didn't cry until I left them. That was, he's like stuck in himself and he's screaming, but he can't express it. So I think that was also a little piece of the puzzle saying, help me.
Yeah.
Right?
Help me and I can help you. But I don't know how to convey it. I can't say
Right,
it.
exactly. Like there's more here. You're on the right path kind of way.
What a great written movie. What a great cast. It was very believable. It was very down to earth, like realistic of something that could actually happen. People would act in this way, you know? They would want answers and revenge and
fast.
Yeah, and they would be like, you know, time is running out. Like, he's a survivalist. He knows how long you can live without food or water. And he knows that they're young girls, you know, that they might not last as long as an adult could last.
Right.
So he's determined at a very quick pace. Need answers now, not later. And that's when he gets mad at Jake Gyllenhaal, Loki, for following him. He's like, why are you wasting your time following me?
It hasn't been a fucking week. You're right. It hasn't been 6. Day 6. And every day, she's wondering why I'm not there to fucking let you her. Do you understand that? Me, not you. Not you, but me. Every day. So forgive me for not going home to have a good night's rest. And why did you look at my fucking daughter? Hey. Don't follow me. Hey. Listen, don't.
What a scene, right?
Yeah. And even the lies that he says to him, you know, why were you over here? He goes, I was at a liquor store. I'm drinking liquor. He goes, why were you walking over there? He goes, I haven't had a drink in 9 years. So I walked around wondering. And then when I saw you, I decided, yep, I'm going to have a drink.
Yeah.
Perfect lie, essentially. He's sympathetic with Hugh Jackman's character, kind of trying to understand what he's going through. It's very powerful. Like I say, it's like a slow-paced movie, but not all at the same time.
Fun fact for you.
Okay, so Jake Gyllenhaal's character as Detective Loki, all the tattoos, his Freemason ring, did you get that? Yeah. And his face tics, that was all his idea because he feels that people have a sense of intelligence like that. So I guess he added that into the role. But his tattoos on his hands, zodiac signs, a nod to him as his role in Zodiac when he played in that movie Zodiac. He had said the line of, I feel like every good detective has to be a little bit gangster.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because they know the way of the world. They know the streets. They know how things roll down. And
yeah,
he knew all about being in the boys' home with the priest. He was there.
Yeah. That's like,
right.
And I mean, that's what made him like, because then he has a feel for people like that already. So he knows what to look for.
That's what makes him a good detective.
Yeah.
Because he gets it. He's street smart. When I first watched this movie, I'm like, why does a detective have like jail tattoos? What? You know? But then you go back to where his past came from. Like you said, he came from he was in the boys' home. He goes, I know all about that, father. But I feel like he really just he kept his cool and he only asserted himself as necessary. He beats the hell out of the keyboard. I just fucking love it because it's all this anger that's built up.
He's defeated. He feels defeated at that point, you know. His one lead had just killed themselves. So and he's now confused with what's going on, right?
This movie and its scenes. That was my favorite part of Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie after that guy blows his face off.
Fucking all right.
And the way that his voice just crackles, and the way that he like does it. Oh my God. I don't know why like he wouldn't win an Oscar for just that alone. I'd give him like the world just for that alone because I felt that. You know, it's like in here. He's such a good actor. God, I love him. Girls Gone Wild. No. Okay. Okay, you see that? Who's that?
Ryan Gosling.
You are correct, sir. Okay. My Ryan was up for the role to be Detective Loki in this film, which, hold on. Okay, don't say anything. I'm still speaking about my man. Okay.
I think I've seen him in, everything he's done. He can do it all.
I think he would have made a really awesome detective. Jake Gyllenhaal did a movie before with the same director. It was called Enemy. Wasn't a fan, but whatever. After doing that movie with him, he's like, no, I want you automatically in this film. No questions asked. So Ryan got pushed back, but then Ryan did Blade Runner, the new Blade Runner, 2049 or whatever it is. So he's still, yeah. But I was like, oh God.
If Ryan had been placed in this role,
would be us, you know? Yeah.
This film is rated R, but the torture scenes were cut, believe it or not. There was a lot more to that. And since it had all that in it, and it was a little bit more to like a 3-hour movie,
right?
The scenes were so torturous that this originally had an NC-17 rating.
Oh, wow.
It was that bad. I don't know exactly what it would have made it that bad, but they cut it down to make it to get it R-rated.
When he locks him into the tub, builds the box around him, and then has control of the water from the outside, and he said it's either scalding hot or freezing cold.
Right.
Maybe there was more visualization of the scalding hot. Maybe they had filmed scenes that showed more, and
or they had to
maybe
box it up, maybe.
That they had to cut out. Maybe what he looked like when he got out of there when they found him. You know, maybe that was a little too brutal looking. Because, I mean, even after his face being punched, his face was
messed up.
Totally messed up. Mega swollen, bloody, bruised, all over, like every inch of his face. I mean, they didn't really say what his injuries were at the end, but I would say his face was probably fractured and broken. Eye sockets and all, you know, like.
That's probably why they had to board it up, because he came out like that. That's probably why the rating got dropped to that, because it was boarded up.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that they boarded it up because they didn't want to see someone go through pain, but they wanted answers.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that's why they did it. But now, you know.
Well, that's two good reasons for the boarding up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It adds to the story, and it also got them a bit of a better rating to show it.
The screenwriter had said that Detective Loki's character, and this just pushes more of him as you see him and why he is the way he is. But because Detective Loki was pretty much an orphan, grew up in a boys' home, he was a prisoner of his own past with his own demons. So with that being said, I was like, wow, that just brings him all together as a whole, because you get all the gaps filled.
Yeah.
And it's just so weird because it's like, it makes so much sense. I love that character. I really just felt the power and the strength and the sadness all in one in him. You could just see it. And let me tell you, Jake Gyllenhaal's eyes at that vigil scene when he's, it's such a work of art right there. To me, it is. Yeah. I'm just like,
Not even dialogue. Like at the end of the movie, for example, when he's kind of like, did I just hear that? You know, like just the look on his face, his demeanor as he's doing it. You totally get exactly what's happening.
But another fun fact that I bet you didn't know. Oh, you got more fun facts, okay? Woo, I have full fun facts. Woo. Woo, man. Okay.
When Detective Loki is in the apartment of Bob, the guy that runs out, and he has all those puzzles all over his house, opening all of those baskets full of snakes. Weird, whatever.
Well, the snakes were part of the captors.
Yeah,
they had something. I think that was a callback to that. Anyway, that was a connection there, but very minor connection. Very minor.
So when Loki is examining the place, checking everything out, he goes through the book. There's a picture of a sketch bunny, and it's supposed to be because it's from Donnie Darko.
Oh wow.
Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale were going to financially support this film and put money in on it.
Wow.
Yeah, Leo DiCaprio was in on it and then backed out for some weird reason. Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg were trying to do The Fighter, in the movie The Fighter at the time, so they were putting all their money and effort into that. I think that Mark Wahlberg, he still gets a credit and he still was a producer of this film, but little fun fact there for you.
Would you give this movie?
Gosh, that's a tough one. It's going to be like a 4.8 for me.
Whoa, that's a big one.
I love it. Like, I'm telling you, Jake, man, Jake takes the cake on this one.
I'm going to give it a 3.9, which is, I think, a massive score. Because like I said before, anything like 3.5 and above is going to be a huge score. The only reason I'm going to kind of give it a little bit of a lower score is just the length of the movie and the bit of the pace. For me, I didn't mind that. But for a lot of moviegoers and watchers, they might get a little, squirmy in their seat, kind of bored, What is next week, Nikki?
Fight Club, John. No,
you said that with so much enthusiasm.
I'm just not a Pitt fan. Anyway.
So, all right. So, guys, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Give us a comment. Let us know what movies you think we should be watching as well. Go back, check out the other episodes. Check out the new episodes. Check out Wacky Wednesday when we show you our bloopers.
Check out Mondays, 10 a.m. We're here to make your Mondays better.
So every Monday, 10 a.m., we'll be there for your pleasure to get you going on your Monday. Until next time. Bye.